What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you on Friday morning. I hope everybody's doing good today. It's not that cold in the upstate of South Kakalaki this morning, but snow is on the way. Supposed to start a little bit after lunchtime, I think. And there's a lot more traffic. It's 4:50 in the morning right now, and there's a lot more traffic out here, a lot more than there normally would be at this time of the morning. I haven't gone, half a mile or so without passing a car, and normally after I get about 8-10 miles away from my house and kind of get into the country on the way down to where my route is, I don't hardly pass anybody. You might see someone every 10 minutes or so passing you going to work, but generally not that many folks. But there are out today, so you can tell there's other people trying to get their day done quickly and get home where they need to be. I'm just hoping that I'm able to work as long as I can today before I have to head home, because I have some small stops I got to do this afternoon. I really don't want to leave them behind, but I know when I get in some of these smaller places, especially I have a couple of Dollar Generals that I got to work, I know they're going to be covered up. They'll probably have one damn person working, maybe two. So getting checked down is probably going to be a little bit of a hassle today in those spots, but we'll make it do. So Orange Bowl is in the books. One half of the national championship game set for a week from Monday is set. Notre Dame Fighting Irish come from behind in the fourth quarter last night in the Orange Bowl and beat Penn State 27-24. Not the outcome that I was hoping for. Penn State was in control of this football game for the entire first half, and Notre Dame made some adjustments. It came out the second half and it looked really good. Tied the ball game at 10. It was tied at 10 going into the fourth quarter. I told you guys the other day that I liked Penn State to cover and win, and I liked the over. Well, I got half of that right. The over did hit in that game, and it was all due to the fourth quarter. So we saw all the score, and it was tied at 10 going into the fourth. And Penn State, after a couple of Nick Singleton 7-yard touchdown runs, is up 24-17, and then Notre Dame wide receiver Jaden Greathouse, goodness gracious, Greathouse to fire, just makes an incredible play, catches the ball kind of out in the flat, and just makes Penn State defender miss. He just breaks his ankles, he misses, kid ends up on the ground, and he was off to the races. So they tied the ball game, and then it takes a Gamecock. It takes a Gamecock in almost every situation for it to turn out right. A Gamecock, Mitch Jeter, caps off. Well, he hadn't capped it off yet. He's going to play a national championship game. But he's had kind of a disappointing season there, kicking the ball. He's been hurt a little bit. But he's come up clutch in these playoff games. And he nails a 41-yarder, sneaks it inside the right upright, and Notre Dame wins 27-24 after Penn State couldn't convert and move the ball down the field to potentially kick a game-winning field goal themselves. How does that make me feel? Well, I'm happy for Mitch Jeter. He's a Gamecock guy. He won that Clemson game for us back in 2022 with like a 40-something yard field goal with just like 2 minutes to play, 3 minutes to play, I think it was. And then we were able to hold them. And, no, it was longer. It was further out than that. It was more like closer to the beginning of the fourth quarter, actually, when he kicked that. And then it was back and forth. Yeah, that's right. And then Carolina punted the ball to them. And that's when Antonio Williams fumbled the ball. Old fumble fingers. Yeah, I was kind of pissed when he left South Carolina, but at the time really didn't see all the facts for what they were. Like, he transferred to Notre Dame. He's a graduate student, and whatever courses he's trying to take, whatever he's trying to get a graduate degree in, it's not offered at South Carolina. So, I mean, it's not really a slight on South Carolina. And he did some good things here. I mean, like I said, he won the Clemson game for us. He's come up crucial in some other spots for South Carolina too. So, you know, it's not his fault that the rest of the team, you know, didn't get him in position to make those kind of plays during his time here. So, kudos to Mitch Jeter for kicking the game-winning field goal. I thought Drew Aller, the Penn State quarterback, I thought he looked like crap. Didn't play particularly well. I thought the running game looked really good. It was solid. They were pushing Notre Dame around. And I think if Ohio State makes the national championship game, that's going to be what you're going to see there. It's going to make the difference there. Because Ohio State is going to be able to run the ball. They're not going to be able, I don't think, to dominate up front like Penn State did, because I think Penn State offensive line better than Ohio State's offensive line. But Ohio State can move the ball down the field vertically, and that they're going to be able to push the ball on Notre Dame where Penn State couldn't do it. Credit Notre Dame. They have defensive backs come up with some big plays, but I don't think Drew Aller played particularly well, though. On the flip side, Riley Leonard, I mean, and neither one of these quarterbacks impressed me at all. Riley Leonard threw a terrible interception there in the first half, and while his stats did look a lot better, and Notre Dame had a lot more passing yards, and what I thought the opposite actually happened here in terms of the way their yards were divvied out. I thought Notre Dame would be able to run the ball a little bit more effectively than what they did, but they threw the ball all over the place last night. Now, this was not all totally due to Riley Leonard being a great quarterback. This was due to wide receivers just making plays on balls. I like the one that I just described with old Jaden Great Balls of Fire. Just really good wide receiver play there. Really good tight end play from the Fighting Irish. Tight end got involved. Last night was Mitchell Evans, I think. Had a couple of nice grabs. Had a shoestring run down the right sideline there. That was in the first half. I don't know if that necessarily led to any points, but still, they were moving the ball that way. So, you know, congratulations. James Franklin once again fails to win the big one. I thought that he was going to get the big one finally, but he did not get the big one, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't think those fans are like the doing the Ryan Day bullshit with, oh, you got to win a playoff game or you're gone. But I mean, at some point, does this not kind of feel like? And I know he made it a little bit further in terms of just on the national landscape this year. But if the Georgia fans look at this, does this not look similar to like the Mark Richt situation at Georgia? Coach been here for 10 years, maybe a little bit more than 10 years. He's winning you 9, 10 ball games a year, 11, but even more than that this year with James Franklin. 11 games a year, making it conference championship game ever so often. Not able to win the big one. Looks kind of similar to the Mark Richt situation. That's not to, by the way, demean either the performance of the Penn State players. Both those running backs played really well. Thought Nick Singleton played really well. He did drop a touchdown, a sure touchdown, in the first half. That the ball was thrown a little bit low, but he still probably should have caught that ball. And they ended up having to kick a field goal, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. So that cost them some points right there. That could have been your ball game there. And that's the situation in any close game. You can go back and point to a number of plays in any close game. It's like that right there, that or no, that right there, that's where it's at. It's nuts, but at some point you got to look at James Franklin and see, is this guy ever going to take us to the next level? Because if not, we might need to cut bait. But not to take away either from the performance of the tight end, the hybrid player Tyler Warren for Penn State. This guy can just do anything. I mean, this big 6'6", 250-pounder, this tight end. I mean, they line him up all over the place. They line him up in the slot. They line him up on the outside in a trips formation. They lined him up at quarterback last night in the Wildcat formation. And I actually had him. I lost $50, but I've gotten ahead a little bit on my gambling. But I had a $50 prop bet that would have paid out $300 if it had hit, and it was him to be the first touchdown scorer in the game. And Penn State definitely had their opportunities. They got the ball first. They ended up having to punt it on their first drive, and then they got the ball again when they went down and kicked the field goal. They were dangerously close, and a couple of those plays, I was hoping that they would put him in there and do the direct snap to him and see if he could score, but damn, just wasn't to be. But not to take away from his performance, really gutty performance. I like him when he catches the ball too. I like the way he does, like old Scataboo does, where he actually will turn around and back his body into you to get more yardage. I mean, it's like I ain't seen any players doing that until this year. When those two started doing it. I mean, if I saw it happen, then it may have been due to just momentum, and that's just the way the defender pushed you. But these dudes are doing that. They will turn around backwards and just throw that big-ass body into you. I mean, his damn ass end is probably as big as all fucking outside. Hell, he's 6'6", 250. The guy's huge. But yeah, I'm gonna miss seeing that. Anyway, that's the Orange Bowl, and I'm gonna put some videos up later today if I can when it starts to snare of what I've got going on and where we're at as far as getting our job done for the day. Hopefully, I can get done with everything I need to do. But I'm telling you, if it starts getting bad, I ain't gonna stay out here and work in it, because I had a bad experience. I'm not scared, like I said, to drive in bad weather, but I had a bad experience in this truck with that hurricane. And I just, you can't. I mean, if you come upon a bad situation, which if it's snow and icy, you're going to be going a lot slower than you normally would anyway. But this truck, and it handles really good, but you're not going to be able to avoid some kind of road hazard the way you would in your car or small truck or whatever that you normally drive in. The way that you would, you're not going to be able to do that in this truck. So that's why if it's too bad to drive, it needs to be parked, and I'll just have to go out and get them later on. I could potentially see, I know this is supposed to clear up tomorrow in the afternoon. I think it'll probably melt off. I could potentially see myself having to go out and do a few stops on Sunday, which I don't want to do. But if you don't do that kind of stuff, if you miss a couple of stops on like a Friday for something like this, if you don't try to make it up before you actually start the week on like Monday, when you're like in your grocery stores and stuff, you're just going to really get behind for the whole week. Or you could find yourself out here working till 6, 7 o'clock at night and then having to go back and get more product, and that just, no. I'm not doing that. I like to be done down here by at least 4 every day so I can head back. Some days I do have to go back and get more product for the next day. Some days if I've made a big load, I don't, and I'll just get home. But I won't get home till like 5 o'clock. So that makes for a long day anyway. But that's about all I've got, guys. Hope y'all have a good day. Stay safe wherever you're at. Hopefully your power doesn't go out. That's the main thing. Hopefully your power doesn't go out. Because that really sucks. Really, really sucks. Anyway, that's about all I got to say, guys. I will see you all later on. I appreciate you. Peace. And I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!